all different promises and potentials, including, of course, and most importantly, 19 state governments and federal capital territory, as well as over 400 local governments. And these are all decision-making units, from planning, from budgets, from administration. So the Northern Nigeria offers a broad spectrum that can provide the opportunity for different investors. Equally, our Constitution, particularly Section 16 of the Constitution, the economic objectives of our federation, define that we should plan and create an economy that works for all. And we, in this sense, means all those in authority, president, governors, chairman of local government, are supposed to work together. So it is recognized constitutionally that each part of Nigeria is important to the prosperity of the country. Equally, following from that, in the year 2020, among several historic attempts, we had an Agenda 2050, which was developed, a perspective plan for 30 years, which was developed for the whole country by a combination of private, public sector, civil society, and a broad spectrum of society. And that Agenda 2050 speaks to most of the issues that were raised here, speak with programs that can deliver prosperity to all parts of Nigeria. It is envisaged that that perspective plan was to be implemented in about 6 5-year development plans. We had 2021 to 2025 that is just finishing. And this summit is taking place when we are just working on the 2026-2030. And I happen to, my ministry, the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning, happens to be the ministry that is coordinating that effort. So for me, I believe it comes at a very pivotal moment, because two of the things we are doing, which follows from the campaign promises President Bola Ahmed Tinubu promised, that in conceiving the review of agenda, let us not go back to the past. Blame game will not take us anywhere, but let us recognize that we are not where we want to be. And to get to where we want to be, we have to make choices, both courageous, pleasant, unpleasant, but those choices that can put us on a pedestal that will take us where we want to be. And thus, the 2026-2030 development plan is a moment to incorporate some of the proceeds, so some of the results that will come from this summit. In particular, we are doing two things differently. We, the state governors and Mr. President and the Vice President, bear the instrumentality of the National Economic Council, have approved two things. One, a renewal of World Development Program, as well as the review of the National Development Plan itself, to put one in place to 2026-2030. And it is going to start with mapping of the economic potentials of the 8,809 geographical wards. This is something that has been done elsewhere, and that mapping will form the bedrock of planning by states, aggregated by local governments, from the ward to the local government to the states, and then aggregated at the national level. And so this is a good moment to have people who represent different areas in the north to pay attention when that economic mapping is taking place, so that, because the whole of society involved, so that they can ensure that that mapping include those things that they believe the regions or the areas of interest are captured in that economic mapping, which we will utilize over the next 5 years in ensuring that even our federal budget reflects that endogenous bottom-up mapping that will ensure that there is deliberate attempt to include every part of the country. There is deliberate attempt to support each and every part of Nigeria to do better with the economic potentials that they have. So that is, I believe, this comes at a good moment. Of course, because the coordinating minister is going to speak, and I'm sure he will say more on what we have done as an administration, and I don't want to preempt him, but there are many things that have been done. The whole of the totality of the renewal agenda was to remove distortions that will ensure that when, among other leaders of northern Nigeria or any part of Nigeria meet with investors, those distortions that used to be a bar to investment have been dealt with. A lot of institutional alignment was done to draw attention to the importance of different sectors that can contribute to prosperity, particularly in the north. Among others, Ministry of Livestock, the creation of Blue and Maritime Economy, Ministry of Creative Economy and Tourism, separation of the Ministry of Steel and Development with the solid minerals, actually even the recognition that the agricultural ministry should also include food security and food sovereignty, and both have an investment element to it, as well as mortgage development plan. We have done the crude for naira policy, which to some people may not appreciate how important that is. As we speak, there is a current fire raging in the country, and the summit might well take note of it, because one of the biggest investment by an individual anywhere in African continent is being threatened by misunderstanding with labor unions. That is why allegedly is not here. And that goes to not only the north, but to Nigeria. And the chairman of the occasion has said that investors are not philanthropists, and the world not. So if somebody has put over $20 billion in Nigeria, and that investment is being threatened, you might as well forget about going to market other investors and see they will hesitate. That's why we have to appreciate the boldness with which President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said Dangote refinery and other refineries must work, including selling to them crude oil. That is as far as it can go in terms of profoundness of the mindset of our leader and his willingness and ability to take on challenges and to ensure that the private sector works. Some of the most specific issues that the administration is dealing with are, and I mentioned earlier, infrastructure. The need of infrastructure mechanism is designed to crowd in resources from the private sector so that we can take on historic missed opportunities in roads, in rail, in dams and irrigation, in clean energy, so that there will be cheaper clean energy everywhere in Nigeria. And even our budgets have shown significant increase in funding in these areas: agriculture, water resources, solid minerals, light rail for Kaduna and Kano. But the totality of all these are not enough. I recall when we were attending a meeting of the Northern Governors Forum when I was a governor, and together with the Northern Traditional Leaders and the current His Excellency Senator Kashin Chechima was the chairman of the Northern Governors Forum. And among the presentations that day was a presentation by Northern Governors Forum Southern Population, and a lady who was commissioned by DP of the UK to study why is it that private equity are not investing in Northern Nigeria. And she was given the opportunity that what better forum. And among the things she said was she noticed a lot of governments going to market investors abroad. They should stop. That marketing investors require skill set. And with due respect, those skill sets can be developed by the governments. It's not that they don't have young ones that can understand the language of investors so that they can, because some do not even know that the majority of the wealth fund is controlled by sovereign wealth fund, private equity, and they need special skill set. And two, and I'm sorry, I'm very, very sorry if I speak too long, maybe you can stop me, because I just felt that I should share. And two, particularly for the things that Northern Nigeria, what are those things that Northern Nigeria, to the extent that exist, because state creation have dealt away with Northern Nigeria, with due respect. Governors are supposed to think legally and lawfully for their states. But certainly there are some things that affect the region. Trade policy can have a distortionary effect on North, but more than other parts of the country. So it's good to highlight the consequences of climate change are investment opportunities that maybe forums like this can bring attention to. The most remarkable one, for example, is a lake that was once a freshwater body, almost as big as the Caspian Sea, about 400,000 square kilometers, but now under 2,000. And what is it? It's a function of underinvestment. And President Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is ready to take on those tough investment drives, as he has demonstrated by all the effort in the last 2.5 years. And we are available to work with governors from any part of Nigeria so that these investment requirements, this opportunity, because part of the opportunity that Nigeria as a whole presents to the world is that maybe as we speak now, we have the biggest absorptive capacity on investment than any country in the world. And therefore, we need to marshal it, we need to market it, we need to appropriately put it in our development plan so that investors can see that we need business. Thank you.